Bro, no one cares what you actually do with your life. I'll say it plain and simple for you. If you live like the general population and just try to fit in, no one will look at you twice because you're conforming to society's normality. Everyone is busy chasing their own mediocre lives. It's when you try to be different, when you start a YouTube channel, document your fitness journey, or progress through a unique career, that's when people start noticing and criticizing. Nobody cares about your goals until they're weird enough, extreme enough, or aligned with what other people desire. That is when you know you're doing the right thing. But this comes with a caveat. You need to stop telling people your aspirations. The more you talk about doing something, the less likely it is to happen. Because while you're talking about it, it tricks your brain into thinking that you're actually doing something productive. But in reality, you're just imagining a goal you've put no effort towards. Think about it. How many times have you said, I'm going to start eating healthy, or I'm going to start saving money, or I'm going to hit the gym every day, and then you do absolutely nothing? That's the social reward at work. Talking about your goals gives you an illusion of accomplishment. It releases dopamine. Your brain thinks it's done something significant, but you've actually done absolutely nothing. That's the dangerous part. Your brain starts believing it's already achieved the goal, which slows down your progress before you even start. I took this approach when I lost over 30 kilos at the age of 16, and when I built my investment portfolio up to $44,000 by the age of 19. I don't tell anyone this stuff because no one actually cares. If I told my friends and family I was going to lose weight, they would have probably laughed, because who is going to believe a kid who's been overweight all his life? Same goes with my portfolio. Who would have believed that I dedicate myself to a difficult task that benefits my future self? I could continue listing achievements that no one would believe until I actually did them. This is the part you need to understand. You can talk about the pain and the suffering once you've done it, but while you're doing it, you shut up and you get to work. No one needs to hear how hard something is when you haven't even experienced it in its full capacity. You're not there yet, you haven't achieved your goal, and everyone who gives advice or tries to critique you before you even start doesn't have stake in your success. It's just noise. I call this the social reward trap, because when you interact with people and tell them these massive dreams and aspirations, you will often never put in the work necessary to achieve them. Talking about your aspirations will literally restrict your progress. You're giving your brain the satisfaction of thinking you're on the path, but you're really just wasting your energy. And energy is finite. Every moment you spend explaining your plan is a moment where you're not executing it. If you really want to achieve your goals, shut up about them. Think about them, plan, strategize, write down realistic steps to get there, and then work silently. There are no shortcuts, no hacks that bypass action. You will never know the solution to your problem in theory. You will only find it by doing, failing, adjusting, and doing again. That's where the real growth happens. That's how progress is made. And that's how you build real confidence. Not from talking, but from action. Here's something that most people don't get. Silence doesn't just protect your progress, it amplifies it. Because when you stop looking for external validation, you start building internal validation. That means you no longer rely on likes, comments, or approval to feel motivated. Your motivation comes from yourself, from the fact that you are consistent, disciplined, and committed. Every small win becomes its own reward. Every day you stick to your plan without announcing it strengthens your trust in yourself, and trust is the foundation of self-confidence. Look, implementing this in your own life is hard at first. People will ask what you're doing, and you'll feel tempted to share. Friends might press you, so you're really going to do it. You'll feel the urge to explain, justify, or seek recognition. Don't do it. That's the trap. Every time you resist, you're training your discipline. Every time you execute quietly, you're reinforcing your own power. Over time, your internal validation will become unshakable. You will start trusting your ability to see things through. Another thing to understand is that results speak louder than stories. Let's take fitness again. If you tell people you're going to run 5 miles a day, lift weights, or lose 20 kilos, you're opening yourself up to opinions, criticism, or even skepticism. But if you just do it quietly, when people finally see the results months later, they don't just admire the outcome, they respect your consistency and grit. That respect is earned for, not begged for, and they ask you questions. That is where you can show them. And here's the thing most people fail to see. Silence doesn't just protect you from criticism, it actually gives you an edge. When you're quietly grinding, no one can tell you you're doing it wrong. No one can tell you to stop because they don't see it happening. You're free to experiment, to fail, to adjust without anyone's opinion clouding your judgment. Most people can't handle that. They crave approval. They need someone to pat them on the back before they try. You don't need this. You just need to keep moving forward, keep taking action, and that's how winners will be made. Think about it. Every day, people are sharing their plans on social media. I'm going to start this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to be the best at this. And most of the time, a week later, they quit. Why? because their brain already tricked them into thinking they were making progress. They got that little social dopamine hit from announcing it, and now the work feels unnecessary. The act of talking became the act of achieving, except it didn't. And this is where the trap lies. You, on the other hand, you might be silent. You don't need a dopamine hit from approval. You don't need anyone else to witness your grind. You focus on one thing that actually matters: action. You take step by step, repetition by repetition, and you're building a foundation that nobody else can see. And that foundation will be stronger than any social validation because it's real, tested, and unshakable. When results finally emerge, they speak louder than any real words ever could. And here's a key mindset shift I want you to understand. Results aren't just about impressing others. They're about proving to yourself that you can. They're about trust. Every time you follow through in silence, your confidence grows. You trust yourself to do what you say you will do. You trust your discipline over impulses. And trust me, that kind of confidence doesn't come from likes, comments, or friends telling you good job. It comes from internal validation, the rare kind that no one can take away from you. This is where most people get it wrong. They constantly seek validation, feedback, or approval for their goals, and it destroys their focus. Instead of moving forward, they stall. Avoid that trap by keeping your goals to yourself, by respecting the progress, and by knowing that execution is the only thing that matters. Silence is empowering because it removes distractions. Every time you explain your plans, you open yourself up to doubt, criticism, or unsolicited advice. Some people may try to discourage you, intentionally or not. Some may question whether you can actually succeed. By keeping your goals private, you eliminate that noise. Your focus sharpens, your execution improves, and over time, your results compound quietly. And when they finally appear, they will be undeniable. So here's the truth. Talk is cheap and action will be priceless. Stop blurting out your aspirations. Stop seeking validation before you even start. Work quietly, grind consistently, and let your results do the talking. Because when you master silence, you master discipline. And when you master discipline, nobody can stop you from becoming the person who you really want to be. It's the same with any goal in your life: financial, professional, personal, or creative. You don't need an audience while you're building. The audience is completely irrelevant. The only person who matters is the version of yourself showing up every day. When you master this mindset, you'll notice that the distractions from social validation, peer pressure, and unnecessary advice start fading. Your work will get sharper and your focus will be deeper. Your results will eventually prove themselves. And here's the brutal truth. Blurting out your aspirations is the simplest way people fail themselves. You're setting yourself up for a disappointment before the first step is even taken. Stop talking, start doing. Embrace the grind in silence and let your results be the proof. And only then will you share your story, not as a call for approval, but as an inspiration, a reflection of what you can actually do. So remember, your goals are your business and your actions are proof. The less you tell, the more you will do. The more you do, the more unstoppable you will become. And at the end of the day, when you look back on everything you've accomplished, you will know nobody cared at the start, but now everyone sees the results, and that's all the validation you ever needed. Good luck.